fake it until you make it. So today's video is gonna be on dealing with things going wrong and still making sure you have the right image that represents your brand. So our business is made possible by brand deals. They're what actually funds the YouTube channel. Our videos cannot sustain themselves through AdSense because it costs far more money to make our videos as we're traveling all around the world, renting equipment, other things. So much comes into play to make this happen that we can never do it on our own. So during November, I was on a shoot. I haven't talked about this at all, period, anywhere on any form of social media. And even the video we made out there, I didn't even talk about it. Let me just show you a couple clips of the accident to paint a little bit of a visual for you all. And just for the record, this accident looks ridiculous. I've traveled all around the world, done all this crazy extreme stuff, and the accident that happens to me is going down a slide we make for adults.
More gently?
Yeah, just I'm trying not to lose control. Okay, camera's rolling.
Alright, you ready?
Action.
You alright, Dev? You alright?
No. Basically, my foot got stuck at the very bottom and it didn't slide because it didn't hit the ball pits because the balls weren't moved over. Because of that, my body went forward and my foot stayed there. It literally ripped through my entire sandal. I feel I have a pretty solid tolerance for pain, but this one I definitely knew something was wrong. I'll be okay, it's in a lot of pain.
Caught your ankle, huh?
Supervisor in the first district. 121 responded to an EMS call at Franklin, Washington.
I thought for sure I had broken my leg, ankle, foot, something in that general region. My foot had doubled in size within a couple minutes. Within 10-15 minutes I had passed out twice. Here I am, supposed to lead the charge, and all of a sudden my world is thrown upside down or left or right or however you want to word it. Now thankfully I had Tyson and Dakota with me. I had to go to the hospital. We had a big client and we had to film that day regardless if I was there or not. So I had already talked with Tyson and Dakota about the game plan before we went to the shoot, and I was like, okay, you two, I have to go to the hospital to take care of this. Let's make sure it looks like we know what we're doing. And I had the right team behind me to do that. But I'm like, we gotta make it look like I was here even though I wasn't here. I spent 7 hours at the hospital. 7 hours. How's that even possible? They had to do x-rays. I think they even did an MRI. So, awful experience. I get there at the end of the day with 2 hours left of filming. Dakota and Tyson were doing amazing with running the show with me not being there. And thankfully it was a social experiment video, so we could get away with a little bit more with me not being there, but they still ran the show, made it happen. And I got there though, and we had to do a full-on behind the scenes video for that video, and I wasn't even there. So all of a sudden, we had to shoot behind the scenes to make it look like I had actually never gotten hurt. And when you're just coming from the hospital, and by the way, just for the record, my foot wasn't broken, but I had torn all the ligaments in my foot. So I was gonna be on crutches for the next I was on crutches for a month after that. And then I was walking with a really bad gimp with a lot of pain for about 6 months. So, in a lot of pain, and now I gotta pretend like I'm not in pain, nothing ever bad happened, because we also didn't want the audience, you, to watch the video and have a negative connotation or basically a negative thought about it as far as, oh, that's the video that Devin got hurt on. So we wanted to make sure everything looked positive even though things weren't positive on my side. So we filmed the behind the scenes with me in it, and if you watch the behind the scenes, you'll notice it looks like I'm not in pain, but you'll also notice I'm not walking anywhere. So the way we did that is every time we were gonna do me talking or pretend like I'm filming with the Glidecam, we weren't pretending, I was actually still filming, but we'd actually set down my crutches and I would stand still because I could get away with that, and I put all my pressure on my other leg, and then I do all the talking points and filming to sell that idea that I actually hadn't gotten hurt very bad. Now, why am I doing a whole tutorial video on this? Well, as you saw in the actual title of the video, fake it till you make it. You should never lie about what you're doing. I didn't lie in the behind the scenes. I never said anything that I didn't do. But I still had, or I needed, as far as business goes, as far as thinking future-wise, I still had to have that image that things were okay because we knew our livelihood was based off of brand deals. And if they saw that I was hurt and they knew I was going to be out of commission for the next 6 months, it would be significantly harder also for us to get brand deals which would actually sustain the YouTube channel. We didn't want our work to start slowing down because people were like, well, Devin got hurt, so we actually can't use him for this shoot. So we were like, we can pull this off. We have the right team behind us. Even though I may be out of commission, let's use this to our advantage. So that shoot, that experience, it was a learning experience for me as far as you gotta toughen up, and it's all about the image that you want portrayed. Now, this isn't just something that I do. This is something that they even do in Hollywood, in the big world, the big leagues. On the latest Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, the director J.J. Abrams, when Harrison Ford actually broke his ankle, J.J. Abrams tried to help him, and in that process, he broke his back. Not ideal. And J.J. Abrams played it cool. He went to the doctor a couple of days later. His back was broken. He didn't tell anyone on the crew or on the set. Maybe he told 1 or 2 people, but it wasn't common or public knowledge. And the back brace that he was given, he wore it under his clothes or under his shirt, so no one could realize that he had problems. Big problems, because his back was broken. And there he was on set, having to play it cool, having to lead this gigantic movie and pretend everything was okay, when obviously things weren't perfectly okay. I heard an interview with J.J. Abrams, and I'm a massive fan of his work, but I heard one of his interviews saying like he didn't want the production to slow down and he didn't want any sympathy. He basically didn't want the work to start for what he believed in. He wanted to be gung-ho about it, and I just love that mentality of it all. And I think that applies for all you watching as well. You may not have your back broken, tear all the ligaments in your foot, but you still gotta play it cool and have a positive attitude when you're leading a set or when you're in charge of any focus such as cinematography, costume design, etc. You have to have good energy, because if you let people know, oh, my life sucks, no one's hiring me, this or that, it starts weighing down the crew. And if all of a sudden I started saying, oh, my leg, I can't do anything, I start complaining, it's gonna bring the morale significantly down. So you gotta sometimes fake it until you make it. It's not always ideal, but it can be done. Thanks so much for watching. Over and out.
Boom!
Yeah, wham, bam, super tramp. And I tipping up my hat while I boost the fans. And I hover up top, can you feel the noise? All the girls scream now cause they want the boys. Yo, making all the clouds looking like a big joke. When I run so fast and I sing so low, and you never wanna mess with me. You're just testing me, I just set me free, so just stop.